Right, this is going to be about my new favourite knife. Hopefully a video that'll actually be watchable, unlike the other one. So, essentially it is an Anglo Arms Bolo machete. You can tell that. It says Bolo machete there. Quite nice. Yes, alright, it's a machete rather than a knife. Let's not get pedantic, I like it. Comes in a reasonably stiff sheath. What some of this does seem to be a bit of a trademark for Anglo Arms is that these little tabs here actually have a decent amount of grip on them, so you can actually open the things. Fairly standard sheath, I suppose. Not actually quite as big a belt loop as you'd imagine, but big enough. It's a fairly heavy knife as well, and it is about, what are we saying, about 11 inches, something like that. What makes it my favourite knife is, I've mentioned this before with Anglo Arms knives, they're cheap. They're actually reasonably good quality. They're not brilliant, but they're cheap. Probably a bit more reasonable value, I think would be the best way of putting it. And because they're not very expensive, it's really, really, really good to get one and practice knife making skills. This is a sort of quite modified version, modified in several ways. Firstly, we've cut, false edge just here. That was done with a Dremel, actually. Just changes the shape a little bit. I was thinking about trying to reprofile this blade, but I might still have a go. And I'll probably show everybody when I've done it. Cut a bit of jimping in here. It's not ideal. Some of these aren't brilliant, but it does give a good grip. And obviously it's made for my hand because I did it by myself. Put in this little lanyard hole, which is just a piece of tube frankly that I drilled through. Should have drilled this side and that side and met in the middle. I didn't. You can see a bit of just there, a bit of cracking, which is a bit of a shame. And then did all this texturing here, which was incredibly boring. It took about 2 hours. Again, with the Dremel, did read online, you can't do it. Well, you can. And cut these panelling lines as well with the Dremel. Freehand, actually. Drew out, took several goes to get the lines, and just carried on the jimping. Jimping? No, it isn't. Stippling, indeed. All the way round. Just gives a nice grip, and it's something that's a little bit different. The blade itself had a few coats of boiled linseed oil, which again helps to protect it, and this little lanyard here gives you a bit more grip when you are actually waving it about. I do like big heavy knives, no particular reason, I just do. This one does chop really quite well. It wasn't very sharp when it came, it's one of the reasons why Anglo Arms knives are fairly cheap. The materials aren't brilliant, and it's not particularly sharp when you get it. However, a bit of sharpening, and given the weight, it can half chop through things. God, it is good. Now, uses, not a great deal, really. I mean, if you want to skin a buffalo, this would be pretty good. I'm not. I suppose if you want to go to war, come on, you Hampshire people, we'll get you, would probably be quite good as well. Instead, it just tends to sit in the cabinet and is what the Americans, or the like, call a cabinet queen. I have chopped up stuff with this. Took a pallet apart. That was good fun. Just go and find a pallet and chop it up randomly one day. It's really quite good fun. Obviously, a bit of wood to get rid of, but you can chuck it in your bin, of course. So it's really what it's used for, to be honest. It could be a weapon of war. It could be a survival tool. It's a bit big and heavy, to be honest. You would need to carry something a little bit smaller because you're going to get quite tired hacking away with this all the time. But it's unique. Unless you know any different. And it's mine, and I did it all by myself, and I'm really, really pleased with that. Yeah, you need a bit of practice, perhaps. Although, in my enthusiasm, I just went straight ahead and cut this lot. Cut these lines because I thought I actually could, and I think I've done a reasonable job of it. Given that it was, my workshop facilities consist essentially of a vise mounted on a stool in the garden. I haven't even got a shed. It is possible to do quite a lot of work on it. I'm just really pleased that it's actually come out like this. It took most of a day to do. The jimping actually wasn't that difficult to cut. That was quite simple. Again with the Dremel. Nice grip. This, done with the Dremel again. False edge, just to make it look a bit different, really. It's reasonably even as well. And yeah, all in all, I like it. I will have a look at my other favourite knife. But this one I like. I just like big knives. No particular reason. I just do. And believe me, this really does chop things up really nicely. That's that then.